We've got a nice little slideshow for all of you. But anyways, as I have stated, you are being recorded. Now, before we begin, this pitch is part series pitch, part matchup pitch. I had two matchups that I thought fit really well for the two characters in the series. So I plan to give the series the main spotlight for this pitch, but then discuss the matchups towards the end and why I and others I've talked to think that they work for these characters. Hence why I doubled up on the purchases just to make sure that I give myself enough time.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, this is the question of the day, I suppose. What is a Markiplier montage? Directed by the talented Sayonara, it initially started off as a simple remix of the song known as originally made by Lexi Mao 2, known as Executable, which was a Sonic.exe mix of the song, which would be the starting point for all of this, which would lead into the FNAF 2 mix, and would be the first canon song in the wider Montage universe, and from there has grown to not only, get more songs for each of the games, but also have its own Friday Night Funkin' mod. The team has significantly expanded in this time, with originally it just being Sayo and artist Sammy Draws on Twitter. Now, what exactly goes on in this montage? See, Mark and Corey pictured here are not the Mark and Corey that we know. They kind of are, but they're their own characters. Montage sees Mark Markiplier Schmidt and Corey Kenshin Afton playing the games and visiting the locations of the Fazbear franchise. Mark is someone who is fairly familiar with the location, going there as a kid quite often, while Corey is the son of the former Killer in Purple turned tyrant William Afton. Up to now, they've done quite a bit, and have faced many, many foes, and yet they still live to tell their tales. Not without resistance, however. And this is where we enter the Void, home of Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie, a mysterious pair who seem to have a deep connection with the Void, which has doorways to many other universes, such as the universe of I'm Scared. That one weird pixely game that is very scary and has its own really good song within this mod. Time functions differently here. Shadow Freddy, via Sayo's Twitter, since he was able to take it over somehow, shows that he is aware of events that have technically not transpired for the whole of the universe. The Shadows, namely Shadow Bonnie, had also been the reason that Mark ended up coming back after the bad ending of Burn, the FNAF 3 song, shown in the song. This, however, had caught the attention of their superior, Death. And this is where we head to the flip side. See, when someone passes on in this world, they end up going to the flip side, somewhere that has many, many layers. And if you go a few layers down, you can meet some very interesting individuals. To an uneducated viewer, you would think that they're just Nightmarion and Nightmare, the animatronics from FNAF 4. But in truth, they're the embodiments of karma and death. Mark, having been brought back by the Shadows, evidently has death on his tail, since he has cheated it. Meanwhile, Karma is after Corey to collect her debt, as retribution for everything that Corey has done wrong, given that he is Michael Afton, after all, in this universe. Especially for what he did to his little brother, the crying child. In other words, the Bite of 83. Now, what exactly have our protagonists done in this montage? Well,
sorry, if I interrupt for just a second, I have a question.
Of course.
What is the montage? What montage is it referring to? Or is that just a fancy name?
So, the series is called Markiplier Montage.
Yeah.
And so, montage is just what we refer to the series as.
Gotcha.
So when I say the montage... Yeah. Oh, apologies, go ahead.
But is this a Markiplier FNAF Let's Play creepypasta?
No, so...
Mod of Funkin' Night, of Funkin' whatever it's called.
Yes. So it is a Friday Night Funkin' mod created by Sayonara that is meant to be a love letter to both Markiplier and FNAF. and has a character based on Mark as its main protagonist, along with Corey serving the role as Michael Afton.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, some pretty crazy stuff happens in this series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as far as what the King himself has done, he has beaten FNAF 2. He kind of beat FNAF 1, but some weird stuff ended up happening with a possessed bear animatronic, and it ended up crashing afterwards. He has beaten both the Shadows, the Phantoms, Springtrap, Karma, the Deathmares, and Death. Funnily enough, the interaction with Karma was mostly a joke, since his main, enemy is Death at that point in time. Additionally, he is able to punch ghosts, namely Phantom BB, and has shot BB with a pistol, who was the BB that was in-game. I still don't know how he did that. In any case, he can also set himself ablaze when angry. You can blame BB for that. BB being short for Balloon Boy, just to be safe. Additionally, he has a couple of forms. Some of them we know a bit more about than others. Namely, the King, pictured here. He gains a stash, a sick-ass guitar, a crown, and even managed to threaten the Shadows. And seemingly one-shot the army of the FNAF 2 animatronics that was sent his way. We don't really see it. As you can see, there's a pile of rubble beneath him that is made up of the animatronics. Additionally... Go ahead.
Is Balloon Boy from 2010, the kid that they said got stuck in the balloon, or is this a different Balloon Boy? I know it's a deep pull, but this is a series I think made of deep pulls.
Yeah,
fascinating. Yeah, no, it's Balloon Boy the animatronic from FNAF 2.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, apologies. No need to confuse you any further than I must.
Yeah.
But in any case, we have Ignited, as I believe it is called. We haven't seen much of it. There's only really one art piece for it, but it will be the form that Mark enters during the events of when taking on Springtrap, aka the Tyrant. And he seemingly has an aura of fire, and his fist is able to glow pink, and seemingly gets a power boost. Additionally, this is just what I call it, but during the events of Birthday, the FNAF 4 song, he just seemingly grows a mustache after, being handed the guitar by Death. Similar to how Puss was handed his sword by Death in that final scene in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And he seemingly gets a power boost. It's unclear, but the fact that he gets the mustache is very noteworthy there. And again, it's only ever seen in Birthday thus far. Now, as for the Samurai, he has probably beaten FNAF 1, since FNAF 2 ended up crashing. We haven't seen much of Corey's story yet, as he is somewhat newer to the franchise. He was able to shoot both Foxy and Karma with his shotgun. Foxy, much like Balloon Boy for Mark, was in-game, so still no idea how the hell he did it. He has presumably beaten the ghouls, who are the Phantoms, but for Corey's side, as well as the Nightmare Own animatronics and Karma. Additionally, he's able to slash at ghosts, namely in Locked, and is skilled with his sword, and has evidently undergone actual samurai training, living up to his name. And additionally, he was able to block slashes from Karma, who was able to deflect his own shotgun blasts. Now, before I continue, just so that there is no confusion when I refer to certain events, the timeline for Mark, when it comes to the songs, is Bite is for the FNAF 1 song, Bite Resurrected. Then there is Boned for FNAF 2, Burned for FNAF 3, and Birthday for FNAF 4. For Corey...
Let me get...
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
Okay, yeah. So for Corey, Bitten, which is unreleased at this point, and has... It's known to be the name, but we don't know anything about it, would be for FNAF 1. Sliced is for FNAF 2 and is fully released as a song. FNAF 3 is locked, and we only have one teaser thus far, which is where this art is sourced from. And FNAF 4 is Bereaved, which is also fully released at this point. Eventually, we will also get the Sister Location song Broken. But there hasn't been too much there besides Corey being a bit more comfortable with going samurai. There's been a couple of teasers, but nothing too important outside of reveals for Baby and a couple of the Biddy Bab designs.
Let me get an image in my head. So all of this information comes from these mods of Friday Night Funkin', which is a game, right? It's like a rhythm game.
Yes.
It's sort of like a yeah. I've seen it. It's with the guy and the girl. She's sitting and he's singing.
Yes.
All of this comes from that. Like how, like.
So, the term...
Is it like stuff happening in the background? Is it like lyrics in the song?
So, just to understand it more fully, we would probably have to dive into the document, which again is good that I ended up doubling up on purchases. But basically, the mod itself is just because Friday Night Funkin' as like an engine is what's used for the rhythm game. Besides 2 bonus songs, it has no true correlations to Friday Night Funkin' itself.
Okay, it's just the bones. It's just what they're using for that. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. The story they're telling doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Friday Night Funkin' itself.
At this point, Friday Night Funkin' is just the game engine.
Pretty much. Like,
what kind of game is it?
It is a rhythm game.
It is, in fact, a rhythm game.
Deep dive in the wiki on the side here.
Yeah.
This is a fucking rabbit hole I'm going down right now.
I don't know if the Montage wiki is that good, but it's got some stuff. I'll admit that.
This having an unreliable wiki is so funny. Usually with like the niche stuff, the wiki is like spot on because they got the people in.
Yeah,
that's great. Okay.
Yeah, funnily enough, Montage itself actually ended up in the Hall of Fame for the Friday Night Funkin' mods.
Whoa. Well, that seems appropriate.
Yep. Now, here comes the reveal of the document. So, how strong are they? As shown, some crazy things seem to happen in this series. From death to karma to shadows to voids, this is a lot, I can imagine. And it is exceptionally important to understand the context. As such, I've compiled my findings and can answer some questions at the end if necessary, since a good bit of Twitter is needed to understand some stuff with cosmology. Which is all compiled in the Markiplier Montage scaling document, or the MMSD.
That's what I call the first hour of my morning, is a good bit of Twitter.
Yeah. But now, last but certainly not least, let's get to those long-awaited matchups. Over on our left, we have Mark Schmidt versus Jack Kennedy from the Day Shift at Freddy's series. As for connections with the two, they both have connections to the Fazbear's location, have some amount of involvement with the Shadows, Mark with the Shadows themselves, as well as Jack with Blackjack, who is a weird, shadowy dog. They both end up giving the children their happiest day, and both have died and come back from the dead.
That line item, gave the children their happiest day, feels like we've pulled it out of the Epstein files. It does not feel good right there.
No. Happiest day is like an event in FNAF. It's where the children end up, fulfilling whatever they needed to and are able to finally pass on after so long.
Ah, okay.
Gotcha, yeah.
Now, for the right, we have Corey versus Lloyd. Now, this may be a shocker to you, but surprisingly, they have a good bit.
The whole thing is a shocker, so yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Now, of course, we've got the Evil Dads. That's an obvious one. In Corey's case, it is definitely current, whereas with Lloyd, to my understanding, it's been a while since I've seen Ninjago, Garmadon, I believe, has been reformed at this point. Generally, these characters are also sort of happy-go-lucky to a degree, but can absolutely lock in as necessary. Additionally, at least in the early days for Lloyd, their dads are the reason that they had as many adversaries as they did. And additionally, and most importantly, we get to have a little clash of samurai and ninja.
Okay. I'm a simple man. You say samurai versus ninja.
Yeah,
I'm there for
I get that.
Yeah.
That you're speaking my language. Now I
Yeah.
understand.
Okay. Now, of course, I have to give credit where credit is due. Sayonara to be the one to start things, and art from many talented people. Molten, Mars, Marco, Blue Manting,
Yeah,
Sammy.
this whole presentation was awesome.
Of course.
Great.
Yeah.
And of course, Markiplier for being Markiplier, and Corey for being Corey. And of course, some special thanks for some very special people. Nightverse, the man behind the fan-made expansion to Montage, known as Fanverse Fanspansion. Not relevant here, but it is pretty cool in and of itself.
So that's a fan-made expansion of a fan-made game inside of a game that's not even Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, it's an absolute rabbit hole, I must admit.
It's so funny that it's Five Nights at Freddy's and Friday Night Funkin'. Like
Yes.
I think that's like cosmically the funniest part of it because it's like almost the same like letters in my brain.
Yeah.
Fair enough, of course. Yeah, David and Amor, they have their own covers of the songs in the thing. Friday Night Funkin' covers are a very popular thing, and they have some great art there, and they're just genuinely good people to hang out with. I gotta thank Bread, he's my homie. He's just a cool guy.
Hey,
Six, the OG.
How's it hanging?
Emperor Nightmare. I have a feeling that when I post this to YouTube, he's gonna comment something, and I'm gonna kill him for it.
We're watching you.
Zero. Rosie Ray, they're also doing their own thing with covers, and additionally, Zero helped me understand more about Day Shift at Freddy's. The incredible Montage fanworks, including Fanverse Fanspansion. All the wonderful Byte Mixers, including Fuchsia, Mutant, and many, many more. Fuchsia has done stuff for Five Nights at Treasures Island, and Mutant has done stuff for Five Nights at Wario's.
Five Nights at Wario's?
Five Nights at Wario's.
There's too much stuff going on in this world for...
Of course. Yeah, and of course everyone in the Montage community, and you guys for your time.
So as far as I
Thank
understand
you.
this like, so Markiplier Montage is like the conceit of it is that Five Nights at Freddy's is a thing that is happening, and
Yes.
Markiplier is like is he supposed to be like the
fictional
security
version
guard?
So,
Yeah,
so with the first two games, with FNAF 1 and FNAF 2's events, those are actually them playing the games while weird stuff ends up happening, both Mark and Corey. FNAF 3, they're actually going to Fazbear's Fright. And then with FNAF 4, they're quote-unquote nightmares that end up happening.
Okay.
There's some stuff
Okay.
that ends up happening in the real world that ends up making things a little fuzzy. And just them ending up, like, fighting for their lives against these strange cosmic entities kind of brings a lot of things into question.
I will say this does give me, I always want to do like alternate style death battles. And
Yeah,
if we
totally.
could make a death battle where Wiz and Boomstick broke this down in a Friday Night Funkin' mod, that
Right,
would be my
right.
dream. Like,
Yeah, releasing a death
putting it
battle as
on
like a
YouTube.
mod.
We're
Yeah.
releasing a mod that is this episode would be a dream.
Yes.
But yeah, this is a wild fucking rabbit hole. I'm gonna
When you
spend
said,
the
like-
next hour on the wiki, I'm sure.
When you
Yeah.
said like this is something you've definitely never heard of, I was like, okay. And then
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
the like Friday Night at Freddy's like text pop
Yeah.
up, and I was like, come on, man, fuck off. Like everyone knows about this shit. And then you got into it, and I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah, this is
a babe in the
an
woods.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing is just something I'm really invested in. And surprisingly, these guys get pretty damn strong. Again, you have the MMSD as, like,
I'm not surprised.
supporting documents. I can show that if we have time, but I'm not sure if we do. But yeah,
You can
there's-
send it to us. You can send it to us with this. With
yeah,
this
it's
PowerPoint
linked
presentation.
in.
Yeah.
It's linked
Yeah.
on this guy over here. It's on the red
Fantastic.
link.
I saw it. Like,
Yeah, in a
This guy.
yeah, please share this excellent presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
This is a wild one, man. This
Yeah,
is wild.
This was fun to put together, and I just love the series. And I think the fact that, like, there's so many artists behind this and just everything, I think this could be really great. And plus, it's like, it avoids the barrier of, well, it's a real guy. Because it's a character based on the real guy.
Yeah.
It's just read this wiki. It's like so. There's so many wild things happening in here. Okay.
Yeah, if I could recommend anything, just watching through the song visualizers, playing the mod, just looking around. Like, it's a great thing. And again, the document can help you understand a little more about some things. Because the Void itself is just like a very complicated place, especially for it being just like the first layer of the flip side.
Yeah. I'm watching gameplay, and it is a rhythm game, but essentially, like, as long as you're doing the rhythm correctly, you're watching a story. Am I understanding that correctly?
Okay, so the songs themselves, somewhat, like, the story usually comes around towards the end, or is sort of a central point in specific songs. Broken, I feel like, is going to be very story-heavy whenever that gets around. If you look at Sayonara's channel, there's a lot of songs that aren't in the mod that are A, completed, and B, have visuals.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking at this for a while now. I appreciate you getting us on this wild ass train here.
Of course.
Great presentation. Super good. Thank you so much. But we gotta jump to the next one. But man, this is Markiplier Montage.
Markiplier Montage. Yep.
Yeah.
Catch y'all on the flip side. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.